up with us today, president of 800% Elite Automotive, Glenn Lundy. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Honored to be here.
Glenn, we're pumped to have you. Thanks for being here on the show. So you just flew back to Kentucky, just arrived at your studio after spending the entire week out in the field, out in dealerships across these United States. After your visits in store, we want to ask you the question we ask everybody first up. How's biz?
Oh my gosh, man. I guess it just depends on which store you go to, right?
Ooh.
Wait, I want to, before you answer that, Glenn, what is biz? And I say that like sarcastically, but can you tell us a little bit about what you do along with How's Biz? Because I'm not too familiar with your specific lines of business. So if you could kind of mesh those two questions together.
Yeah, sure. So I work directly with owners and general managers of dealerships on the training and consulting side, helping them scale their businesses. And then I have a team that also works with sales managers, F&I managers. We work with salespeople, so on and so forth, all across the country. So I'm on the road at times in stores and speaking at different events. This past week, we had a couple different events, one in Jersey and one in St. Louis that we were doing some speaking at. But ultimately, what is biz? The biz is the business of the car business, man. This thing that you and I love, that I've been a part of since 1999. And man, what a time to be in the car business, right?
It is a great time. Yeah. So you say it's different depending on where you are. What's the differentiator? Why is it hot in some places and not in others? How about that softball, Yossi? Go ahead.
Yeah. I think the biggest differentiator is the leaders of the organizations, how quickly they're able to pivot to what's happening in the market, man. The dealerships that I see that have a lot of red tape, a lot of policies to go through, or that move slowly are the ones that are seeing really real big downturns in June. And as we've been heading into the summer, into this third quarter, but the dealerships that are pivoting on a dime, that are quick to make sure they have the best tools for their people, to make sure that they're training properly, and to make sure that they're leaning in on what's going on in the market. Like, for example, you guys were talking about hybrid versus EV. I agree that the EV adoption is going to continue. I think the hybrids are the bridge that get us there. I've got some dealers that won't touch it. They're like, I don't want anything to do with EV. No used EVs, no new EVs. It's like, no, man, that's not the play. The play is to try to figure out where the puck is going. And those are the dealers that I see that are winning.
Ooh, that's a reference or an allusion to the Gretzky quote. You skate not to the puck, but to where the puck is going, right?
Yes, sir.
So you've famously grown a store by 800%. It's the name of your company. What's a change a dealer needs to make in July of 2025 to up their game to that 800% increase? In a world of all the noise out there, tariffs and interest and supply shortages and excess and uncertainty, what's the first big change that a dealer needs to make, Glenn?
I was going to say, I don't know how long we have on this podcast when you said, what's the change we need to make? I think the very first thing that I'll say, and this will probably be different than what most people would think, but we've got to change the way we start our day in our dealerships. Most dealerships around this country, people show up at 8:30-ish. Everybody grabs their energy drinks, talks about what they're going to have for breakfast. Then we figure out who's going to get breakfast, right? It's always 6-car Fred that we send over to McDonald's to pick up some sandwiches for everybody. And then after talking about Fortnite and everything we did last night, maybe around 10:30, we actually get to work. And one of the things that we did out the gate is we changed the way we start our day by having daily morning meetings where we listen to our people, we encourage our people, we advise our people, and we develop our people. That's the acronym for LEAD: listen, encourage, advise, and develop. And by starting the day and giving these people a roadmap of what to do at 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30, and 11 o'clock, you can literally shift and transform the entire dealership just by changing the way they start their day.
But Glenn, how do you respond to the person who says this is a generational thing, right? The younger generation, they just don't want to work that hard. They're just not early in, last out, Philo. They're just not interested in giving up kind of their lifestyle and some of the choices that they get to make to do that. What do you say to that?
I say they just don't want to work for you, bro. They just don't want to work for you.
By the way, that's not what I think, and
you,
nobody thinks
you,
that.
Sam, not you. I'm
Thank you.
that person that says that. They
Yeah,
just
yeah,
want to work for that type of leader, man. They don't want to get
yeah,
kicked in the teeth every day. They
Yeah.
don't want to grind 12-hour. Like, one of the biggest mistakes we made in this industry is we made it okay to only perform 33% of the time.
Oh, I love that.
Like,
Yes.
why is the average in this industry 8 to 12 cars a month per salesperson? You're basically saying it's okay to sell one car every 3 days that of the month. That's insane. So we've set ourselves up for failure in a lot of ways by creating negative environments, by not holding people to performance levels, not creating environments where people can actually be successful. If we make the dealership thrilling, dude, when I was running this store, we grew 800%. I couldn't get people to go home. I couldn't get them to go home. 20-year-old
So
kids, 22-year-old
Wait,
kids,
I
they wouldn't
want to
leave.
chime in,
Yeah, go
Glenn.
ahead.
You mentioned like the 9, 9:30, 10, 10:30. What can you give us the specific regiment, or at least one example of what that morning regiment looks like at some store that you advise?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So we break down our salespeople into teams, right? We train our dealers on how to do that. And so each sales manager has a team, which their pay plan is tied into. So 8:30 to 9 is the daily morning meeting, which includes frontline salespeople. Other people call them BDC, but it includes frontline salespeople, right? It's the whole team. And so we have a daily morning meeting, 8:30 to 9. At 9 o'clock, you meet with your team leaders. That's when we're diving into the CRM. We're going through our deals from yesterday. It's when we're walking the lot, making sure we do our trade walks so that we can see what inventory has come in so that we know about it. That's when we're posting together on social media, the first post of the day. That's when we're sticking cars out there on Facebook Marketplace. So it's an opportunity for the leaders in the organization to work directly with their team to help make sure that they're starting off the day in a successful manner to set up for success the rest of the day long.
Why
Mhm.
is it, Glenn, that some BDCs aren't invited to the sales meeting? I've never gotten that.
Crazy.
Like, there are stores out there that say, "Hey, BDC, they're in an office, they make phone calls. We don't want to bring it." Like, the insanity of not bringing them in. What are some of the objections you get to combining those into one meeting?
Well, this industry, we're known for doing this, right? So when the BDC movement began, it was, let's take the receptionist, have her respond to leads, him or her respond to leads, and then when they run into an objection or a question they don't know an answer to, let's give it to a showroom salesperson or give it to a sales manager. That's like how the whole BDC thing started, right? So
Yeah.
fast forward all these years, that's been perpetuated. And most of our BDCs, the reason a lot of them don't work in a lot of dealerships is they think it's a glorified receptionist.
Right. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, if we look at the data, we have more customers coming through our internet showroom than we do our physical showroom. So why do we have 10 physical salespeople out there waiting for us, sitting on the porch smoking cigarettes, and we've got 2 glorified receptionists actually responding to the 75% of leads that are coming into our stores? So switching that up, we had to just change the verbiage. Instead of a BDC, it's frontline salesperson. We have
Yeah.
frontline salespeople and we have showroom salespeople. They're both trained as salespeople. They can make the same money as salespeople. They have all the opportunity as salespeople. They just have different daily roles.
So there's a trend right now in an attempt to reduce expense and also lean more into AI of eliminating BDCs altogether, saying, "Hey, salespeople should be that quote unquote frontline." What's your response to that? Are BDCs still valuable in today's world in July of 2025? And what's the role of AI to help enhance that in your experience?
Yeah, if they're a glorified receptionist, no. Get rid of them. Absolutely. Like, there's no, I can totally understand. Get rid of that expense. You don't need it, right? But if they are fully trained sales people, then yes. And it doesn't have to be an additional expense. Right now, you've got 10 salespeople on the floor, each averaging 8 to 12 cars a month. Take the 4 best ones, the most organized, the ones that are the best on the phones, and the ones that hate going on test drives. Take
Mm,
those 4 and say, you're now our frontline salespeople. The
there
other
you go.
6 are our showroom salespeople. Personnel's still the same, right? Pay is still the same. All that stays the same, but now our customers get a better experience. If you don't do this, here's what ends up happening. If your showroom salespeople are handling your leads, the better they get, the worse the experience for the consumer. Because now
Ooh.
everybody's out on a test drive while leads are coming in and it's taking way too long to respond.
Glenn, when
Ooh.
you say pay is still the same, you're not saying pay plan is still the same, right? Different incentives, different pay plans, but similar pay ranges.
That's correct. And the overall, I still just have 10 people that I'm paying, right? I don't need
Mhm.
to have 10 showroom salespeople and then go add 4 BDC, which would be 14 people. Instead, I still have 10 people all making a great salary, whatever's a little bit above market in your area. That's what we always recommend. Pay a little bit above market in your area. So
Get
your
the best.
salary, your comp is still in line. You just
Yeah.
got better performance from everybody.
Yeah.
I love that idea of rebranding the BDC, the frontline sales department. In fact,
Absolutely.
someone from 800 Elite F&I just said frontline warriors. And to your point, investing in the training in that department, props to that comment. Investing in the training in that department shows them the respect they're owed as that first touch point, and it ensures a great experience all the way through. So great comments, Glenn Lasco, Ford Facts, James Brady, exact or one car per day per salesperson every day, 8531 back from 800 Elite F&I. So what caused you to rebrand the BDC this way? Is this one of the first steps in that 800% equation?
It is one of the first steps, and our language matters, Sam, right? Like
Yeah.
words have meaning. And over the years, like I read this book called The Liberty of Our Language Revealed, and it really transformed the way I look at the way, the words that we actually use and the energy that is behind them. So
Yeah.
with that said, as long as we call it a BDC, we're going to treat it as a business development center, right? We're going to treat it as glorified receptionist. That's how we're going to treat it.
Yeah.
Even me, psychologically knowing that that's not the right path, we have to make sure we're using the right language. So shifting it to a frontline salesperson, now it's like, oh, okay, wait, they need to
Game
be in
on.
sales training. They need to
Yeah.
know how to figure taxes in a different state. They need to have access to the key machine and whether there's a key in the box or not. They need to know where a car is in the service lane. They need to know how to read a credit app, right? As
Yeah.
soon as we
Yeah.
attach that salesperson to it, it shifts the entire dynamic of how we treat them. And that's the key. That's the role. And that was a huge part of our success.
Yeah. So we have one comment from Gary Teitelbaum.
Yes.
So you had a dealership in Lexington. I don't know if you still own it or not, but the question that he has, would love to learn more about what happened with Glenn's dealership in Lexington. With such a focus on documenting the process, Gary V style, full transparency, and he hasn't heard a lot lately about it. So what's the rest of the story? Is whoever it was online used to tell with the dealership there in Lexington.
Have either of you ever been in a bad partnership?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yossi,
Unfortunately, it
have you?
happens.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. As simple as that.
All right. Mic drop here first on the Daily Dealer Live. You get that from Glenn. All right. So Glenn, take us to today. You've got tariffs, you've got interest rate, you've got payment affordability, you've got all the noise. When you think about the culture that you create on the showroom floor and this focus on training, development, execution, what's one step that a GM that's frustrated with teams that are hearing this noise could implement today to remove the noise and focus on the business of selling cars in July of 2025?
Yeah, I think it's really important in times of chaos and confusion, people seek certainty. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for certainty. So, as a leader of your dealership, even though you may not know exactly what's going to happen a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, or 12 months from now, you need to invest the time, effort, and energy to make sure that you can lead with certainty. That means doing the research. That means training yourself, growing as an individual, as a GM or as an owner, to make sure that you're staying ahead of the game and what's going on in the market so you can deliver that effectively. Communication is the key in chaotic times, right? Over communicate, over communicate, over communicate. I personally believe this is the best time in the history of the auto industry.
I
There's
agree.
never been more
Yes.
opportunity. It's
Yes.
incredible. And that's
Yeah.
the message that should be delivered from the top.
Yeah. Where do you think the biggest opportunity exists overall in automotive today? Thinking about all the different forces that are out there. If you went and bought a dealership that was average, is there a specific area, service, sales, parts, body shop, culture, whatever? Is there one area you'd focus on more than another?
Yeah, used cars, man. Used cars is and has been for a little while the biggest opportunity in the auto industry. It's something that we can control. We can't control the manufacturers. We can't control. During that whole COVID thing, when everyone was saying there was an inventory shortage, I said there wasn't an inventory shortage. There was a new car shortage, but there was
Yeah. Yeah.
plenty of used vehicles. It would blow my
Yeah.
mind going around this country seeing empty lots. I'm like, what are
Yeah.
you doing? Right.
Yeah.
And so used cars is really the opportunity. And I think that a lot of our franchise dealers out there have maybe relied on the manufacturers for too long, and they really need to get in this used car game, get a full understanding of how it works in order to be able to grow and thrive in the upcoming future.
So in your training and in your engagement in the stores you're in on a daily basis, is there a process that's just crushing it in used car acquisition, used car sales, used car marketing, merchandising, recon? Is there something that just stands out in your world?
Yeah, for sure. So you guys are gonna think I'm like a caveman, dude. I try to make everything so simple. Like I do not claim to
We
be the
like
smartest
simple.
guy. I like simple, man. Everything needs to be really simple. So
Yeah.
one of the things that we teach right out the gate for all of our clients is replace what you sold yesterday. Very simple. If you sell 4 used cars yesterday, a 22, a 24, a 2020 and a 2025, whatever model, whatever it was, first thing, if that's what you did on Monday, first thing Tuesday, I need you to replace those 4 units. Now we're gonna replace them through 3 avenues. First, we're gonna look in our service lane and see if we can find one there. Second, we're gonna go private party, Facebook Marketplace, etc. See if we can find one there. If we can't find one in either of those places, we're going to the auction and we're going to buy it there. Now, why is this so incredibly important? Well, one, on that car that I just sold, I probably generated 8 to 12 leads. If I now sell that car and I don't replace it immediately, one of those 12 leads buys from me, the other 11 go buy somewhere else.
Yeah.
Whereas if I replace it immediately, I can now call those other 11 and say, hey, hey, Mr. Customer, that vehicle you were interested in just sold yesterday. Great news is I've already replaced it, and this one's got 400 less miles. It's actually in better condition. Would you like to leave a deposit on it today so you don't miss out on this one selling just as fast? So it gives me an opportunity to re-engage with the rest of those leads.
I
The
love it.
second
I
thing it
love it.
does, yeah, the second
Yeah.
thing it does is it makes my inventory match market demand, not used car guy opinion, right? Like, obviously, if I'm selling these in this market, whatever that is, there's a demand for it. So I want to
Yeah.
replace those vehicles as fast as I can. And the third thing it does is it keeps this roller coaster from happening. Most
Yeah.
dealerships around the country, they have a record month followed by what? A shitty month. Oh, can I say
Yeah.
that? A
Yeah.
really
No, you
crappy,
can. Yes. You can
right?
say it.
Record month followed by crappy month. Why?
Yeah.
Because their
Yeah.
inventory drops. So then they go out and buy 50 cars, 30 cars, 100 cars, whatever it is, which pisses service off because service is backed up now with all kinds of units, right? And they're trying to
Yeah.
time the market, which is like trying to time the stock market. You just can't do it. So if you just do real simple, replace what you sold the day before, your inventory slowly and steadily grows as you add trade-ins, etc. You can continue to have consistent growth like we did. This is my plaque right here. This is what it looks like.
Love it.
That's
There it
what we
is.
did month
Love
after
it.
month after month, right? That's the kind of
Well,
growth we recommend. And
yeah.
that's what happens if you replace what you sold the day before.
And by the way, memorializing it in a way like you did with a plaque is super cool. Glenn Lundy, president of the 800% Elite Automotive Club. Folks can reach out to you via social, via the link in the show notes, and at 800 Glenn 800 Lundy. We appreciate you being on the show and sharing your perspectives and giving our audience some nuggets on increasing their month here in the month of July 2025. Glenn Lundy, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are doing some killer things, man. It's pretty awesome to watch.
Thank you.
Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate you coming on.